Women over 60, 4 things men only do in bed if he really loves you. Number 3, will melt you.
Welcome to Wise Life After 60. So grateful to have you here. Have you ever wondered if the way a man holds you, touches you, or even breathes beside you in bed could reveal more than his words ever could? At our age, we've all heard plenty of sweet promises, some kept, many forgotten. But what if the truth of his heart isn't in what he says? It's in what he does when the masks are gone and the room is quiet. Psychologists like Carl Jung believe that intimacy is where the unconscious mind speaks the loudest. A man can tell you he loves you, but his body, his gestures, his small unguarded moments, those are the signs you cannot fake. And for women over 60 who've lived long enough to know the difference between empty charm and real devotion, these signs matter more than ever. Today, we're diving into 4 powerful things a man will only do in bed if he's truly in love with you. And pay close attention to number 3, because when a man shows this, it will melt your heart in ways words never can. Alright, so before we begin, if you find these insights meaningful, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Wise Life After 60, where we uncover the wisdom, psychology, and truths about love that every woman deserves to know after 60. Alright, let's start with the very first sign, one so simple yet so revealing that tells you his love runs deeper than desire, the way he looks into your eyes.
Number 1, deep eye contact. There is something almost timeless about the way 2 souls meet through the eyes. Carl Jung often said the eyes are the windows to the soul, and in intimacy, they become more than that. They are gateways to truth. Think about it. Words can be carefully chosen, even rehearsed. Touch can be skillful, even practiced. But the eyes betray what the heart truly feels. When a man dares to hold your gaze in those vulnerable moments, he is revealing something far greater than desire. He is saying, "See me as I am, without armor, without masks." This is not easy for men. Society teaches them to separate passion from emotion, to compartmentalize intimacy as physical release rather than soulful union. But when a man is truly in love, his unconscious mind cannot keep the secret. His gaze lingers. He looks into you as though you were not just a partner in the moment, but a mirror of his very soul. And for women over 60 who have navigated decades of broken promises and forgotten vows, we recognize the difference. We can tell when a man's eyes are restless, searching for escape, avoiding the risk of being known, and we can feel the stillness of a gaze that says, "I am here, with you, fully." In Jungian psychology, this moment of unbroken eye contact is what he would call a merging of anima and animus, the inner feminine and masculine aspects uniting in harmony. It is not just romance, it is a sacred surrender. His eyes become a bridge, not just between 2 bodies, but between 2 souls that dare to stand uncovered before one another. And that is why deep eye contact is the first and perhaps most undeniable sign. It cannot be faked. It cannot be rehearsed. It is love speaking silently, powerfully, through the only channel that never lies. And once you felt the honesty in his eyes, the next truth reveals itself in the way he approaches intimacy. Desire, by nature, is selfish, but love, real love, seeks union, not conquest. When a man truly loves you, he begins to discover joy not in taking, but in giving. Your pleasure becomes his pleasure, your fulfillment his quiet triumph. In those moments, he is no longer driven only by instinct, he is guided by devotion. This is where love moves beyond the body and becomes something deeper, a merging of souls through selflessness.
Number 2. Prioritizing your pleasure over his own. Lust is hungry. It seeks to satisfy itself, often blind to the needs of the other. But love, true love, changes the equation. Love is not about consuming, it is about communion. And in the quietest, most intimate moments, this difference becomes impossible to ignore. When a man is truly in love, something extraordinary happens. He begins to find joy not in his release, but in yours. Your laughter, your sighs, the subtle ways your body responds, these become his reward. It is no longer performance, nor is it duty. It is instinctive devotion, a silent vow whispered through his every action. Your happiness is my happiness. Your joy is mine. Carl Jung would call this the reconciliation of opposites, the masculine drive to pursue, harmonizing with the feminine principle of receptivity. In this balance, intimacy stops being transactional. It becomes transformational. The act of giving becomes the proof of loving. Notice how a man in love studies you, not critically, but tenderly. He remembers what brings you comfort, what awakens your senses. He listens, not with ears alone, but with his entire presence. And when he delays his own gratification to make space for yours, it is not sacrifice, it is fulfillment. Because in that surrender, he feels closer to you, more whole, more alive. For women over 60 who have lived long enough to see the difference between shallow infatuation and lasting devotion, this truth shines brightly. A man who loves deeply does not see your pleasure as separate from his own. He cannot feel complete unless you do. This is not biology alone. It is psychology, spirit, and soul entwined. In the end, this is the secret Jung understood so well. When love is real, the ego softens, the shadows retreat, and the self expands to include the other. In that sacred exchange, his desire transforms into devotion. And devotion, my friend, is the purest form of love. Have you ever had a man who found more joy in making you smile than in himself? Drop me a note in the comments. I'd love to hear your story. And that selfless devotion doesn't end when the passion fades. One of the clearest signs of love appears not during intimacy, but right after. When the room grows quiet and the masks are gone, what he chooses to do in those tender moments will tell you more about his heart than anything else.
Number 3. Emotional openness in the afterglow of intimacy. You can always tell the difference in what happens after. When the passion settles and the room grows quiet, that's when a man's heart speaks the loudest. If he rolls over, grabs his phone, or drifts away into silence, you feel it instantly, like a curtain dropping. The closeness fades, and you're left wondering if it was only physical. But when a man truly loves you, those quiet minutes afterward are just as sacred as the act itself. He doesn't rush away. He lingers. He pulls you in a little closer, his hand resting gently on yours, his breath slowing in rhythm with yours. Sometimes he whispers something soft. Sometimes he just stays quiet. But either way, you feel it. You feel that you are not alone in that moment. You are held. And maybe he opens up in ways you didn't expect, sharing a memory, a thought, or simply a look that says more than words ever could. That is love unguarded, love without performance. Because the truth is, after 60, we know the difference. We know that passion can be copied, but tenderness cannot. Carl Jung believed that intimacy breaks down the masks people wear, allowing the hidden self to surface. And isn't that exactly what we feel? That after the fire, in the gentle afterglow, the real man appears? The one who isn't trying to impress you, but simply be with you? And that's why this sign melts you. Because it's not about grand gestures. It's not about saying I love you in perfect words. It's about him staying present when he could so easily retreat. It's about him choosing closeness over distance again and again. That, my friend, is how you know. And once you've felt that tenderness in the quiet after intimacy, there's one final sign, so subtle you might not even notice it at first. It isn't in words or even in touch, but in the way your bodies seem to fall into rhythm together, as if guided by something greater than either of you.
Number 4. Emotional openness in the afterglow of intimacy. Sometimes love shows itself in the smallest ways. The things you almost don't notice until you pause and think. Have you ever realized that when you're lying together, his breathing slowly falls into the same rhythm as yours? Or how, when you shift slightly in bed, he shifts too, without even thinking? It's as if your bodies are quietly talking to each other in a language neither of you had to learn. That's what happens when a man is truly in love. He doesn't force it. He doesn't even know he's doing it. But his body naturally tunes into yours, his heartbeat slowing with yours, his arm adjusting to hold you tighter, his sigh releasing at the same moment you let one out. It feels effortless, but it's powerful. It's his way of saying, I'm with you, I'm not going anywhere. This isn't something you find in casual encounters. When there's no deep connection, movements feel separate. Two people side by side, but not really joined. But when love is real, you can feel the difference. It's in the way you both laugh at the same moment, turn your heads at the same time, or even drift off to sleep in sync. It's not performance. It's not routine. It's love showing itself through the body, quietly and honestly. And for women over 60 who've lived through passion, heartbreak, and everything in between, this kind of connection is priceless. Because it's not about grand gestures, it's about that deep, wordless comfort of knowing you're not alone. It's about his body saying what his words may never capture. We are one. That's why this final sign is so powerful. Because when a man unconsciously mirrors you, when his movements fall in line with yours, it's not just romance, it's belonging. And belonging at this stage of life is the deepest form of love we can ever hope to find. So, my dear friend, these are the 4 things a man will only do in bed if he truly loves you. Deep eye contact, putting your joy above his own, staying close in the afterglow, and that effortless rhythm where your bodies move as one. They may seem simple, but together they tell a story words can never capture. The story of a man's heart when it is fully yours. At this stage of life, we don't need empty promises or shallow gestures. What we long for is presence, devotion, and the quiet certainty of knowing we are truly loved. And if you've seen these signs in your own life, cherish them. They are rare and they are real. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Have you noticed any of these moments with someone you loved? Or do you believe there are other hidden signs of true devotion we often overlook? Share your story in the comments below. Your wisdom may be exactly what another woman needs to hear. If this video touched your heart, please give it a like, subscribe to Wise Life After 60, and join our growing community of women who know that love doesn't end after 60, it deepens. And remember, love is not measured in words, but in the quiet ways we show up for each other when no one else is watching.